Welcome 21st century educators. You are the third generation of 21 CE teachers for SunWest. This video is intended to give you an orientation of the course. I'm Arlene Lowe, one of the learning coaches for SunWest School Division, and I'm a co-facilitator with Pat Telfer, another learning coach for SunWest, also facilitating.
This is a new position for us, but we're going to be following a format that was followed in previous years. We expect bumps along the way, both on our parts and your parts, but we're here to support you if you have any questions, so please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any problems.
So the 21st century educator role was intended to incorporate the 21st century competencies into your teaching. It's also to help improve digital literacy skills and to implement those into your classrooms and to help your students. The role is also to help participation by collaborating in an online learning environment. And we also expect you to be able to learn, share, take risks, and of course support each other.
Each one of you has been given the release time to do this course. It's about 90 to 100 hours, depending on where you are, which is equivalent to like if you were teaching a grade 7 social studies class. It's about the same amount of time. The only difference is that instead of being in the classroom, you're going to be online for the most part. You're still in a class. It just looks a little different than what it normally would look like for you. And this one, instead of being about your students' learning time, this is about your time to learn. Going along with this is the budget that's been allocated for this. 10% release time in each one of the schools is a big chunk of time. It's something that we need to be conscious of, and we need to be transparent about when we're doing, or when we're kind of realizing what we're doing with our time here. It's not just here to for us to realize what we're doing for ourselves, but also to bring some other people into the journey with us.
So the school year is broken into 7 different learning modules with a presentation at the very end of all of the modules. So if you think of it as a course, there are 7 big units, and each unit has its own spot on the calendar. Each unit has some learning goals and activities that you'll be working through, and at the end of each there's an opportunity to showcase their learning with your big project. It's not scary, it's just something little. And the modules are set up in the same way that the instruction for a regular classroom would be. There are specific learning goals and specific processes that we're going to work through, and then there's an opportunity to share with each other.
Hopefully, we're able to weave what we're doing in this course into what you're doing in your classroom. This isn't intended to be extra work for you. We want to take the little things that you're learning here and just add them into your regular practice. When we look at the modules, there's a basic format that we're going to follow that is made up of 4 parts. Each module runs about 4 or 5 weeks, in which you'll have a chance to do some exploring. You don't have to watch or read everything, as it's very time consuming. Some of the modules have a lot of content to choose from, so don't feel like you have to do everything in there. This is like a course that you would be teaching in time-wise, but you don't have the other things that come along with it, things like marking, prepping, parental contact, etc. So if you extend some of the learning time into other parts of your life, that's okay, but don't feel like you have to. Some of this time that you're given gets kind of eaten up by other things throughout the school year. Try to honor the time that you're given. If you do, you're going to find out that you're going to be less stressed than if you didn't. If you do use the time for something else, try to find that hour somewhere and place it back or replace it. When time isn't used, there's a sense of anxiety that you should be doing some more in your class. We would suggest logging your time, just how long it takes to go through each one of these modules and keep track of those things. A sample time log sheet has been posted in the course introduction. You don't have to do it, but it is a good idea to just kind of keep track of everything. Time was one of the things that kept coming up in previous years. You're getting pulled in different directions in the school. There's lots happening, and you want to be a part of all those things. Finding the time, honoring the time, and then finding a place where you can signal to others that this is important to you and has a lot of value is really important.
So the format of each of the modules are very similar. They start with time to explore, and there's lots of different tools that we're going to use to do this. So during the exploration time, we're going to ask you to do some reading, some learning, some listening, and then ask you to post into the online community about some of the things that you connected with. By doing this, we can begin to apply what we are learning and make connections with each other. We can do lots of reading or lots of viewing, but it's those conversations where we're reflecting on our learning that can make these ideas even more meaningful and to hopefully take these and make them our own.
Part 2 in this is the just one thing. So after you're done your exploring part, you can choose just one thing that you want to try that was different than what you've done in a classroom before. What you choose to do is completely up to you. When you read the course intro, you'll see some information about making it real for you. Start where you're at. Don't compare yourself to others and where they are on this learning journey. We are all very different in our background knowledge, our subject area, and our access to technology. So don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Start with one thing that makes sense for you. You might look at someone else's and think, oh, wow, they're doing something amazing, and mine isn't anything like that. Don't worry about it. Just focus on what makes sense for you, because after 10 months, you're going to look back and think, wow, I've done 10 small things that are now one big thing. And that's what this is really about. Keeping this in perspective and just start where you are and then ask for help along the way. Often people will think, I know this is going to sound stupid, but really no questions are stupid. Questions are the key to unlocking learning. Asking questions and admitting that we don't know something is really hard for teachers because we're seen as the keepers of knowledge, the ones with the answers at the front of the class. This is a big mind shift. It's a sign that we're willing to learn and embrace some new things. So ask for help. Ask us, ask your tech coach, your learning coach, your 21st century educators, the ones that did last year that are still in your school. Go into the Google Plus community and ask there as well. The more questions that you ask, the more that you will get out of this experience. There's just way too much to know. You can know everything.
In every module, you're going to be asked to share and reflect. You're going to be asked to share in the Google Plus community. It's a safe place for us to discuss and ask questions. The instructions on how to join were sent to you by email and are also posted in our Moodle course. Share with your staff. The 21st Century Educator teachers in previous years have a regular time to share in their staff meetings. You might also want to create a bulletin board if that makes sense to you and your school. You might want to tweet. You might want to have conversations in hallways. Share with your students what you're doing and model your learning in the digital age. Stretch your boundaries and bring other people into your conversations.
The last part is the reflection. The inquiry model in all Saskatchewan curricula talks about that reflective piece. So every module has to have some sort of reflection. You can choose to send it privately, whether it's an email to Arlene and myself, or you can choose to do it more openly by starting a blog. It's up to you and your own comfort level. Different people have done different things where they've started maybe privately and then moved into a blog later on. However you choose to share it, it doesn't matter, but it is important to reflect on these things.
So welcome aboard, teachers, and we are excited to get to know all of you better and look forward to connecting with you online.